continue here. Basic logic edits. I just had a conversation with my friend, so I will try to go over some of the things we talked about. So we were talking about channel strips and inserts. So let's take an audio channel strip here. I was showing her how she had her output down here, just unaware that it was down like that. It's not something you always check because generally it's at unity gain. So I told her about the option click command. Option click sets it to unity gain. This also works on a lot of features. Option click sets the pan back to center. Let's do it on somewhere where it doesn't get covered by this display there. So option click sets it to 0. This happens with a lot of different things. I'll do it as I go, but even this volume would do it. Option click sets it to unity gain. So just showing her how this is the track that's highlighted here. For instance, let's go to that audio track right here. This is the track in the arrange page. This is corresponding to the inspector channel strip. So analog chime 4, chime, actually it's analog drum machine 4, analog drum machine 4. So this corresponds with this strip. This is the stereo output as default, but if I clicked onto a send here and set my send to, let's put the large hall in here. I didn't tell her this over the screen share we just did, but now that I clicked this send, this is actually the corresponding bus 2. And so when I send any level here, it's actually going through here. All right, a little deeper, we can tell her about that later. So let's just delete that. See, even clicking that option send sends it to 0. I'll do that again. Option click sets it to 0. But we're going to shut that off for now. There was a really cool shortcut for shutting these off. What was it? I think in the center of a bus, if you hit option click, shuts it off. Now that's very interesting. For even advanced users would find that kind of interesting. Because I'm sure I could easily turn it on and off by clicking the power button. Doesn't seem to let me do it with the loop, with the zoom in. But if you go into the center of the, actually it'll probably work with this as well. So let's look at this. We're looking right here. I'm going to hold option and click the center of it. Turns it off, turns it on, turns it off, on. Option click, option click. Don't ask me why, because this does the same thing. But it's just one of those key commands that are hidden behind the user interface, the UI, the GUI, graphic user interface, the GUI. So let me continue with a couple of tricks. I want to really show her this one. It'd be pretty cool. Well, we all know markers are handy. Global commands, is it option G? Yes, it is. That's a toggle. G shows the global commands, the letter G, bango, bango. And I think the letter M shows markers. Let me check that. Option K. Cursor's up here. This is highlighted in blue. Let's tab over. Now this is in highlight. There's no text here. But there's, what was I getting to? Oh, I want to show the marker. So let's tab back over and type in marker, excuse me. Show hide marker track. Oh, there you go. It's quite complicated. Show hide marker track. Shift Command K. Oh, here we go. Show hide marker track only. Yeah, it's an apostrophe. So let's try it. It's Command W, apostrophe. Okay, getting crazy now. Not much of a key command. Apostrophe. Markers. Take you a while to remember that one. But the trick I wanted to show you was here. So we're talking about the marker track right now. So apostrophe shows marker track, and it's empty. So I want to add a marker. There's a lot of ways to add a marker. If I highlight a region, for instance, and I think it's Option apostrophe or Control. Let's look it up. This was really one of the ones that took me a long time to memorize, but it's super handy. So I want to create a marker. So we're going to go marker. I'm going to put create. This is R-E, mar. There it is, Option apostrophe, create marker. So let's look at this closer. Create marker, Option apostrophe. So we look at create marker without rounding and create marker for selected regions. That's the one we're after. So let's just highlight it so see where it goes. Follow the blue line. Look at what do we got? I was close. Shift, and remember I say these out of order. Shift, Option apostrophe. So let's tab over, Command W. I want to create a marker from this region. What was it? Shift, Option apostrophe. Now I've created a marker from this region. Let's undo that, Command Z. Remember, undo, Command Z. It says hidden message here. How ironic. Shift, Option apostrophe. We go up here, we get a marker called hidden message. You could even hide your own messages up here. There's a way to rename this. I'm not going to get into that. We're more concerned about arrangement and creating markers. Now, this is the trick part. That wasn't even the trick. Let's just do that one more time to really, really show you how it works. Let's pick that region there. Shift, Option apostrophe. There you go. One little region created for that. You could call it, it's a 1-bar break. It's exactly what it is. And it may end up being a 1-bar break that you'd want to find and copy over to another section. Let's undo that and get rid of it. I want to do something we can visually see. Let's create a marker from here. Shift, Option apostrophe. And now let's take the cycle range, sort of unrelated, set it there. Oh, I'm going to show you a really cool trick after this. And let's say the next 4 bars are something we were working on and we wanted to create a marker from this. But we didn't have the corresponding shaped, regions. Well, for instance, if I wanted to create a marker for these 3 regions over this 4-bar length, I think I'm going to get 3 markers because there's 3 separate regions. Let's try it. Shift, Option apostrophe. There we go. We got 3 markers. Now that may not be what you want because it's too complicated. You wanted a marker that was this length. Here's the trick. Let's undo that. Command Z. You can, and even you advanced users may not have known this. I learned it a while ago. I love it. You can grab the the cycle range, and pull it down till it's that gray box and create a marker from it. Let me show you again. Have to escape out of that because it was trying for the naming field was open. Undo it. Let's say we wanted a 3-bar marker. All right, there's the cycle range. You grab it, pull down, the little gray box appears in the ruler, I would imagine. Let go, and you get a marker that distance, that length, ready to be named. And I'm going to call this
3-bar from cycle range.
I just created this marker from a cycle range, and it was ready to be named. I like it because it's quick. Instant markers. Instant markers. So let's escape that because it was there. Undo it. Command Z. Command Z. Undo it. 3 bars from cycle range. And I do remember me saying that I was going to do show you a really cool trick. Say in a song you wanted to, let's say for instance, I wanted to rehearse a song and I wanted to remove this section of 2 bars. Now, before I removed it, I want to audition the section and see what it would sound like without this area in it. Now I could go delete it and then move all of this stuff over, shuffle it over, and then undo everything. But you have a cool function of the cycle range. Now I don't know what it is. I think if you option click it, that is not it. Control click? No. Command click. Found it. Found it. Command click. Command click. So everyone's saying like, what is that? For any Logic users, when they see something abnormal, like that's not, you know, something they've seen over the last 2 months of using it, they're like, they go wild. So if I command click this, maybe there's some users out there that have never seen the cycle range black and yellow like this. With that, see the chevrons in it? We love it. It's got chevrons in it. What does that mean? It's skip mode. Love it. Well, that was interesting because skipping those 2 bars made this sound like a repeat because it skipped that first note, which is I think an A or something. It doesn't really matter. So let's shut the cycle range off, but we're going to leave it in basically skip mode. So I shut it off. Option space will play back from where I played from. See, now the feel is completely changed. Let's turn the cycle mode back on and option play. This is a good tool to test your mixes, and as you're doing your arrangement, is skipping certain sections with the locators in skip mode. And that's command click the locators, and it's just like a toggle. Command click, command click. One other interesting thing about it is if I grab it from this side and move it past this point, it will turn back into its regular cycle range. And it just made a liar out of me. Let's try that again. Let's take this side and no, it's changed. Maybe that's a change in Logic 10.3. Before you used to, well, maybe it's in reverse. Let me try that. So let me take this range and scoot it past. No, it's not doing it. Let's take this side and scoot it backwards. It's not doing it. Before, when you dragged the edge past itself, it would actually turn into skip mode. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, but it seems to have disappeared in Logic 10.3. There is one other thing I'll say right now. If you hold Shift and click the 14th bar, this will extend this locators up to the 14th bar. If you hold Shift and hit the 20th bar, you can quickly change the length of the locators by holding Shift instead of dragging it all the time. Doesn't come in handy all the time, but it is useful. Now, if it's in the middle, what would be the middle of 13 and 24? That's a good question. Let's simplify that. Let's go 4 bars. Let's go 5 bars actually. I'm not even using my command. I'm trying to say. If you go to the left, it'll close the left off. If you go to the right, it'll close the right off of center. And I think that that's pretty cool. Let's recap. Command click, skip mode. Shift click, extend the locators to wherever you want. Click the locator and drag it down. You get a gray box. Let go. You get a marker ready to be named the distance of your locators. I have to escape to get out of that because it's got the field open. Command Z gets rid of that. I think that's it. It's just about the markers today. Wait, one more. So apostrophe is show marker track. Not a big deal, but they do come in handy when you start to really arrange. And Shift Option apostrophe creates a marker from the selected region, or the selection as they call it. So if your selection is this, and even, well actually if it skips one, if you do that and have this one and this one, that's your selection. So the markers aren't going to be as long as all that. They'll be just over those selected regions, which is your selection. So let's try it, Shift Option apostrophe, and boom, you get 3 markers, and they have the corresponding name assigned to them as the regions itself. What I did go over with her today was how you can pick with these little arrows when you bring in a loop from Apple Loops, which is the letter O. You can go in and pick one of almost like 100 versions of that loop and change it up so that you can have some variation when you're trying to write and trying to be creative. That's it. It's only my 4th ever Logic tutorial, and I will just keep on putting them up there for her. If you like them, please hit like and subscribe and leave a nice comment.